Arjun sat at his desk, the remnants of his gaming session still flickering on the screen before him. The bright colors of his favorite game seemed to mock him now, a painful reminder of the hours he had squandered while his textbooks gathered dust in the corner. His parents had warned him time and again about the value of time, urging him to focus on his studies and plan for his future. Yet the thrill of virtual victories had always seemed more appealing than the mundane reality of schoolwork. When the exam results arrived, the weight of disappointment crashed down on him like a tidal wave. The numbers on the paper were stark and unforgiving, a reflection of his lack of effort. He felt lost, a ship adrift without a compass, unsure of how to navigate the turbulent waters of his own life. The shame of letting his parents down gnawed at him, and he could almost hear their worried voices echoing in his mind. It was a moment of reckoning, and he knew he needed guidance. In search of clarity, Arjun turned to his grandfather, a man whose wisdom was often sought after in the family. His grandfather had lived through many seasons of life, witnessing the ebbs and flows of time and its impact on one's journey. Sitting across from him, Arjun felt a flicker of hope. He poured out his heart, sharing his fears and regrets. His grandfather listened intently, nodding with understanding, and then began to share a story that would change Arjun's perspective forever. "Let me tell you about King Vikram," he began, his voice steady and deliberate. He was a ruler of great wealth and power, admired by many. But Vikram had a flaw. He squandered his time on trivial pursuits. He was captivated by the pleasures of the court, lavish banquets, extravagant celebrations, and endless games. Despite the sage's warnings about the fleeting nature of time, he ignored them, believing he had all the time in the world. As his grandfather spoke, Arjun found himself drawn into the tale. He envisioned the grand palace, the opulent feasts, and the laughter that echoed through the halls. But the image soon darkened as his grandfather continued. Years passed, and as Vikram indulged in his distractions, his health began to decline. His reputation, once shining bright, started to tarnish. The people who once revered him began to whisper about their king's folly. He had neglected his duties, and the kingdom suffered as a result. Arjun felt a knot tighten in his stomach. The story resonated with him. He could see the parallels between Vikram's choices and his own. As the king lay on his deathbed, he was filled with regret. He realized that time had slipped through his fingers like sand, and he had nothing to show for it. The wealth he had amassed meant little when he could no longer enjoy it. He had lost the trust of his people and the respect of his advisors, all because he had failed to recognize the irreplaceable nature of time. The weight of his grandfather's words settled heavily on Arjun's heart. He could almost feel the king's despair, the realization that it was too late for redemption. Vikram's story, his grandfather concluded, is a reminder that time once lost cannot be regained. It is our most precious resource, and how we choose to spend it shapes our destiny. In that moment, something within Arjun shifted. The realization that he was on a similar path struck him like a bolt of lightning. If he continued to waste his time, he would face a future filled with regret, much like King Vikram. Inspired by the story, he resolved to take action. He needed a plan, a way to reclaim his time and invest it wisely. Determined, Arjun began to establish a daily routine. He created a schedule that balanced his studies with short breaks, allowing himself time to recharge without falling back into the abyss of idleness. Each morning, he woke up earlier than before, greeted the day with intention, and set clear goals for what he wanted to achieve. The thrill of gaming was replaced by the satisfaction of completing assignments and mastering new concepts. As the weeks turned into months, Arjun's hard work began to pay off. He found himself excelling in his studies, and the once daunting subjects transformed into challenges he was eager to conquer. The feeling of accomplishment filled him with a sense of purpose he had never experienced before. His parents noticed the change, their pride evident in their smiles and encouraging words. By the time the next exam results were released, Arjun was a different person. The numbers that greeted him this time were a testament to his dedication and newfound respect for time. He had not only passed, but excelled, earning top marks in several subjects. The thrill of success was intoxicating, a far cry from the despair he had felt just months earlier. As he continued on his academic journey, Arjun's ambitions grew. He envisioned a future for himself that extended beyond the classroom. Inspired by his grandfather's wisdom and the lessons learned from King Vikram's tale, he set his sights on becoming a successful businessman. He understood that time management would be crucial in this pursuit, and he embraced it wholeheartedly. Years later, Arjun stood in his own office, a successful entrepreneur with a thriving business. He often reflected on his journey, grateful for the wake-up call that had redirected his life. The lessons learned from his grandfather and the story of King Vikram remained etched in his mind, serving as a guiding light in both his personal and professional endeavors. Arjun's transformation was not just about academic success. It was about understanding the profound impact of time. He became an advocate for time management, sharing his story with others who found themselves lost in the distractions of life. His journey served as a powerful reminder that effective time management could lead to significant achievements, shaping not only one's future, but also the legacy one leaves behind.